If you were the scapegoat in your family, you were never the problem. You were just treated like you were because someone had to carry the weight no one else would face. And the moment you finally step out of that role, everything starts to change. Not because you're causing a problem, but because your absence exposes the problems that were always there. In this video, I'll show you what really happens when narcissistic parents lose you as their scapegoat, and why the chaos that follows is the first real sign you're getting free. I'm Jerry Wise, and for over 45 years, I've helped hundreds of thousands of people heal and get their family out of them through self-differentiation, the process of becoming your true self and releasing the false self you were trained to be in your family of origin, so that you can truly finally live with clarity, peace, and a lasting freedom. But first, let's be clear about what the scapegoat role actually is. You are not the problem in your family if you feel you have been the scapegoat and are being treated as the scapegoat. You are where the family puts the problems. You were cast as the troublemaker or the difficult one. They handed their anxiety and dysfunctions and the blame to you so that no one else had to carry it. Usually because you were the one who wouldn't fuse with the family's dysfunction. You didn't play along. And in the narcissistic system, that refusal gets punished. And there's lots of stress and strain that happens to the scapegoat when they stop performing that role of being a scapegoat. And here's the part that keeps people stuck for years. You believed it. When everyone treats you as the problem long enough, you stop questioning it and start accepting it as truth. You know, maybe I am the problem, and maybe this is about who I am. You don't walk away from something you think you simply are. But it was never true. You were the most honest person in the system, and a system built on denial, and honesty is exactly what a system like that can't tolerate. So what happens when you finally step away and stop needing to be that problem? They still need you to be the problem, but you're beginning to step away from being the problem or seeing yourself as the problem and seeing it as truly their problem, not yours. Number one, when narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, the whole system destabilizes. A family is an emotional system, and every system is always working to stay in balance, even an unhealthy balance. For years, that balance ran through you. The family's anxiety, its tension, its unspoken problems, all got routed onto the person so everyone else could feel stable. And they got routed to that person that is generally the identified scapegoat or the problem child or the difficult family member. The family always blamed you. They colluded and together gossiped about you. They managed their anxiety and dysfunction by what? By focusing on you. If you don't want to deal with your own problems, let me tell you what you should do. Gossip and focus on everybody else. Now, I don't recommend that as a mature adult, but I'm saying it does work. That's the problem. It does work. And a dysfunctional family will use that as the work that they do. You are the load-bearing wall. So when you quietly step out and stop absorbing it, the whole structure starts to wobble. Nothing about the family actually changed except the one part that was holding it up. You. Pull out that wall or pillar, and the whole house finds out how unstable it always was. Number two, when narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, they panic. They never learn to hold, manage, or resolve their own anxiety. Much like in, say, an alcoholic's family. The alcoholic cannot manage their own anxiety and their own struggles with their addictive behavior. And so what they do is drink. And so what drinking does then creates a whole bunch of destabilization in the family, and everybody's got to balance that out. They survive by pushing it outward onto a target. And for years, that target was you. So when you step out of position, all that anger and criticism and fear has nowhere to land. They're suddenly forced to feel what they spent a lifetime handing off to you. And that terrifies them. Whether consciously or unconsciously, Many times unconsciously, it terrifies them and they've got to get this back. So they get louder because loud is the only move they have left. Number 3, when narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, they escalate. What you're seeing isn't really anger. It's not healthy anger. It's the system fighting to snap back the way it's always been. Every family has an invisible pull towards changing back. And when you break the pattern, that pull gets aimed straight at the scapegoat, straight at you, in 3 predictable stages. Stage 1, which is the first part of that changing back and resisting that the family needs to go through. They ask the scapegoat, why are you doing this? What's wrong with you? You stay calm. You stay self-differentiated. Stage 2, it moves to another stage, a more intense stage. Why don't you just change back? You need to stop being the way you are for all kinds of reasons. You need to be more loving, more religious, more respectful, honoring your parents. All those things come into that to try to convince you to go back to being the scapegoat. Stage 3, you need to stop what you're doing or else, because look at all these things that are going to happen to you if you don't get back into line. It's all in the service of one thing, keeping the family exactly the way it's always been. When narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, they do pull harder to get you back. This is where the pressure peaks. They'll use shaming, love bombing, flying monkeys, therapists, pastors, friends, extended family members, gifts, apologies, sudden depression, rage, even illnesses. Anything to pull you back into the role that you were once in. And the closer you get to be free, the more extreme it may get, because they're not really reacting to you. They are reacting to losing the one that kept them steady. One client, I call her Elena, saw it coming and prepared. She mapped out every move and expected and decided in advance calmly how she'd respond to each one of the stages. So when her father called and said, "Oh, your mother thinks she's having a heart attack and she wants you to come over," Elena didn't spiral. She said, "I'm so sorry she's not feeling well. Please get her to a doctor right away. Take her to the hospital." He pushed. "She wants you to come and see her right now." Elena still steady. "If it's her heart, she shouldn't wait for me. She should go see a doctor or go to a hospital right now." No guilt hook got grabbed. No drama to feed. Just a steady, mature answer she'd rehearsed before she ever needed it. Elena's response was practical, neutral, calm, and she'd not get pulled into her mother's drama. Now, that may sound cold. "Oh, Jerry, you're just telling us to be cold." I need to tell scapegoats and others they need to be more cold because they don't even know how to be cold. They're usually much more codependent or much more hyper empathetic. So it may sound cold, but it's simply being an adult and mature. When I experience the feelings of getting pulled into a game again, I work to become very practical and try to use my head and not my feelings. "Mom, this really seems to upset you. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you will try and talk to a counselor, or I know you're close with your pastor, so talk to him." Number 4, when narcissistic parents actually lose the scapegoat, they recruit a replacement. The family anxiety and dysfunction has to land on someone. Systems like this stay stable by pulling a third person into the tension, always needing somebody to carry what the family won't face or wants to carry. Their own responsibility, their own feelings, their own brokenness, their own misbeliefs. So they play pass the hot potato and elect a new scapegoat. Usually whomever was most sympathetic to you as the former scapegoat, sometimes even the golden child. Think of the family like a mobile hanging from the ceiling. Pull one piece out and every other piece jets around trying to find balance again. That's what happens in dysfunctional and narcissistic families. When you pull out a role, it becomes destabilized. Number 5, when narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, many times it can happen, the golden child often gets shaky. Here's what most people don't expect. Oftentimes the golden child was only ever the good one because there was a bad one to measure against. You were the shadow that made their light look brighter. Take you out of the picture and the contrast may tend to collapse. Now there's nothing to be better than, and the same criticism that used to live on You starts drifting towards others in the family. Some scramble to hold the position. Others finally see the machinery and realize their approval was never really love. It was conditional on someone else being sacrificed. The golden child had a false self too. It just came with applause. Number 6. When narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, they rewrite the story to avoid facing themselves. For years, you and probably many others were the explanation for every problem, every tension, every failure, every disappointment, and a place for it to land. And that place was you. As long as you carried the blame, no one had to look at their own real dysfunction or take accountability for their part in the problems in the family. So when you step out and the problems don't leave with you, they're left exposed and they can't sit in that. So they rewrite it. They may find another scapegoat or they rewrite the story. They romanticize you. She was always my favorite, a closeness you never really had. Or they demonize you. Well, good riddance. You've fractured this family enough. It's poor me, or it's doubling down. It's also hard for others in the family to take your side, even in the extended family, because they see what alienation would be rained down on them. What it never is accountability, because the story only exists to keep them from seeing themselves. Number 7, when narcissistic parents lose the scapegoat, they lose emotional control of you. And this is what they're really afraid of. Your whole life, the family had a set of buttons that worked every time. Guilt, obligation, shame, fear. Pull the string and you'd react or defend or apologize, come running, shrink back into the role you were supposed to be in, or even be totally done with the family, which to them only solidifies their beliefs that you are the unstable one. Your reactions were the steering wheel, and they were used to driving. But when you stop reacting, the buttons stop working. The steering column doesn't work anymore. And so now they have to throw in a fake heart attack, or, well, you fractured this family, or you've always been my favorite. And you stay calm, neither swayed by the compliments or love bombing or the negativity and criticism. They push and nothing happens. You've been building more inner boundaries. I heard a story of a narcissistic mother who estranged herself from her daughter through creating sibling rivalry and financial abuse. Her daughter had stepped back. Her mother went to the hospital with a supposed stroke. And I've heard these stories many, many times. And I'm sure she was evaluated. Her father called to tell her, guess what happened? Mom was home the next day, no stroke, only on baby aspirin, but wondering and upset why her daughter did not rush to check in on her. These games go on all the time in dysfunctional and narcissistic families. And on rare occasion, there actually is a crisis. There may be a medical emergency. But what do you do when the parent keeps crying wolf? That's the moment the control breaks. Not in a screaming match, but in your quiet, steady, non-reactivity. Here's what I want you to hear. That steady, unreactive place isn't something you were born with. It's something you build. And it has a name, self-differentiation. Becoming your true self and releasing the self you were trained to be. So the guilt and the drama and the crisis of the week can't run you anymore. It comes down to strengthening your inner boundaries. The 3 muscles you can actually train. The I don't care muscle. And this is an internal message. I don't tell everybody I don't care. The I don't care can also be, not my clowns, not my circus. That's a part of the I don't care muscle. Also the it doesn't matter muscle and the so what muscle. This actually sounds kind of heartless, right? But what does a false stroke, a manipulative heart attack, do to others in the family? What does gossiping, family bullying, isn't this really where the heartlessness lies? I think this is more heartless. I would not want to frighten my child or grandchild just to get attention or to pull them back into my orbit. That's cruel. The stronger those get, the less any of the moves can reach you. The stronger those muscles become, you can hear the fake heart attack, the flying monkeys, the sudden apology, and still stay yourself. Being the scapegoat is not who you are. It is who they are projecting you are. And when you get there, the chaos that follows doesn't mean you did something wrong. It shows you how much you are carrying for all of them. When they lose emotional control of you, you finally get to hold it yourself. That's exactly what I built in the Road to Self program to walk you through, step by step, how to build these muscles. Hold your ground through resistance and get your family out of you for good. I also have tools, exercises, and ways of seeing the system that frees you from your view of yourself and the family. Remember, the program is not just a quick fix run through. It is a program that you revisit and go over, and it grows with your growth. And it grows deeper and deeper inside you, helping you to see much more than you thought you could ever see or realize. If you're really ready to finally break free and start living with clarity, peace, and a grounded connection to your true self, then join the Road to Self program. Many who've joined say it was the missing piece in their healing, the thing that finally helped them stand strong as to who they really are. Not sure if Road to Self is for you right now? That's fine. Start with my free 84-minute self-differentiation training. Over 50,000 people have joined the free training as their first step. Click the links in the description below and get started. If you don't see a link below, then just go to my website, Jerry Wise Relationship Systems. Don't forget to subscribe. Please comment. I read the comments, and hit the bell icon, so you never miss a new video. I do want to thank you for watching. Have a great day and be wise.